In this video, we want to figure out what the domain and the range is of the function you see on the right-hand side that's graphed in blue. Now, this function is supposed to be a parabola. It's not perfect, so you have to cut me a bit of slack there. But what we want to do is we want to use that parabola, which is the graph of a quadratic, and we want to figure out what the domain and range would be, just looking at the picture. So our domain is going to be all of our x values, as you see indicated in green above the word domain. And so what that's referring to is how far to the left versus how far to the right does our function go in terms of x values. So as you can see, with this parabola, these arrows mean that the pattern continues. We're really going to the left forever, and we're going to the right forever. Because even though this u kind of gets steeper and steeper and steeper, it is still moving to the right forever. And that's always going to be the case with a parabola, even if it doesn't quite look like it. So our domain is going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. The negative infinity meaning we go to the left forever, the positive infinity meaning we go to the right forever. So now we're going to do the same thing with the range, except for the range is going to be asking how far down to how far up. So our lowest value, our lowest y value I should say, that we attain with this particular parabola is right here. I'm going to mark it in red at negative 3. And so we're going to include that value of negative 3 because we actually attain that value. It's a solid dot. So instead of a parenthesis like I had started drawing there, we want to have a bracket. So anytime you include a value, you want to have a bracket around it. So negative 3 all the way, well, the highest value, we continue going upward forever. So since we go upward forever, we're going to say negative 3 to infinity. And that's going to be our range. So one thing to keep in mind is if you ever have a quadratic, a parabola I should say, your domain is always going to be all real numbers, or negative infinity to positive infinity. And your range is always going to be negative infinity to whatever the vertex is if it's pointed downward, opening downward, and it's always going to be whatever the vertex is to positive infinity if the parabola is opening upward. So that's kind of a shortcut for problems like this.